everyone, and welcome back for reading. Today we are going to continue reading our chapter book from science, and we're going to focus on Chapter 4, Light Check. And it looks like this. So if you'd like to take a minute just to get out our Chapter 4 Light Check reading and have it in front of you, in your packet you may do so. If you need a few extra minutes to get this out of your packet, you can pause the video and then press play when you have this in front of you. And when you do, you can just have it sit in front of you because we're going to go over our focus questions and our vocab words before we begin reading. So I'm going to start with our focus question for this reading. And our focus question is, what do we get from the sun? So think about it. What do we get from the sun? Do we get light from the sun or darkness? And I want you to remember your answer your focus question in your head, because we are going to revisit the focus question at the end of our reading. I'm going to read the focus question one more time before we move on to our vocab words. Here it is, the focus question. What do we get from the sun? Light or darkness? So I remember the answer in my head, and I'm going to see if that answer was correct after we're done our reading. Next, we're going to move on to our vocab words, and we are going to be introduced to 5 new key vocab words that we are going to be hearing while we read our Chapter 4 reading. As I say each vocab word, you may repeat back after me, starting with wavelength, light, white, colors, and up. So those 5 vocab words we're going to hear while we read our Chapter 4 reading. So right now I'd like you to have your Chapter 4 reading in front of you so you are able to follow along as I read the chapter. I'm also going to stop and I'm going to ask you some questions as we read this chapter. So please follow along. Chapter 4, Light Check. The students must check the lights. Rhett turns on the lights. There are red, green, and white lights. How does light work? So first I'm going to pause and I'm going to just revisit that light and white are 2 of our key vocab words that we just heard on this page. So my question to you is, what do the students need to check that we just read about? Do they need to check the lights or do they need to check the sound? And the correct answer is students need to check the lights. So we're going to move on to page 29. Light is energy. There are invisible bits of energy that move in waves. These bits make light waves. How do light waves move? Miss Bliss and Juan hold the spring toy again. Miss Bliss moves the spring toy up and down. Light waves move up and down. So another vocab word that we just heard on this page is the vocab word up. So we know that light waves move up and light waves move down. Sound waves and light waves move differently. Sound waves vibrate and light waves do not vibrate. Sound waves and light waves both have wavelengths. They are both energy. So our next vocab word that we just read about is wavelength. So we talked about sound waves, meaning the vibration we talked about in our throats. So when we talk loud, our throat vibrates more. And when we talk soft, our throat vibrates less. And also, we read today that light waves do not vibrate, but they both have energy. Moving on to page 32. Sunlight shines down and looks white. There are colors and other light waves in light. Some light we can see and some we cannot. So now we talked about different types of colors, and we also talked about that the sunlight that we see when it looks down on us, it looks white, and white is also another key vocab word. Page 33, there is light we can see. These are the colors in a rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So my question to you is, what colors of light can we see? So some of you might have said the colors in the rainbow like we just read about: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Each color has its own wavelength. So if you look at this chart, it shows you all the different colors that was just talked about and their different wavelengths. There is light notes in sound. Red has waves that are far apart, and violet has waves that are close together. So red is on top, and you can see that the waves are farther apart, and violet, there's more waves close together. The play starts in 45 minutes. The students need to hurry. They start putting the props on the stage. So that is going to be the end of our reading for Chapter 4. And our next step is I would like you to gather your questions. So some of you have multiple choice questions that are going to look like this with the title Chapter 4 Light Check. And some of you have fill in the blank questions that look like this. So I'd like you to get either one of these questions out of your packet so we can start going over our questions. If you need extra time to find these questions in your packet, you may pause the video right here. So remember, if you have the fill in the blank questions, you want to remember that you are cutting out the first 5 pictures up here so you can answer the questions. If you have the multiple choice questions, remember you are circling your answer that best completes the question. If you need extra time, making sure that you're writing your first and last name on your paper, or that you are cutting out your pictures, you may pause the video here and then press play when you are ready. I'm going to start reading the multiple choice questions first, and then I will move on to the fill in the blank question. So question number 1 on the multiple choice. Remember, you're going to circle your answer that best completes the sentence. Question number 1. What is this chapter about? Light, sound, or food? Circling your answer. Question 1 on fill in the blanks. Blank is energy. Wavelength, light, white, colors, or up. And remember, you're going to glue or tape your answer in the box that best completes the question. Question number 2 on the fill-in. How do light waves move? In a circle, in vibrations, or up and down? Circling your answer. Question number 2 on the fill-in. Light waves move blank and down. Wavelength, light, white, colors, and up. Best putting your answer in the box. Remember, only giving a choice of 2. Question number 3 on the multiple choice. What does sunlight look like? I'm going to repeat myself. What does sunlight look like? Rainbow, black, or white? Question number 3 on the fill-in. Sunlight shines down and looks blank. Wavelength, light, white, colors, or up. Remember, you're gluing or taping your answer in here. That best completes the sentence. Question number 4. Remember, you're circling your answer on the multiple choice. Number 4 is, what is in light? Colors, people, or animals? Question number 4 on the fill-in. There are blank and other light waves in light. There are wavelengths, light, white, colors, or up. And then question number 5 from multiple choice. Remember, you're bubbling in or filling in the bubble next to the correct answer. What is important to know about this chapter? Light only has one color. Each color has its own wavelength, or color comes from clouds. And then question number 5 on the fill-in. Each color has its own blank. Wavelength, light, white, colors, or up. Making sure that you're gluing or taping your answer in the box. If you have the fill-ins, you're just going to set your paper aside and just wait till we go over our answers. For those of you that have the multiple choice questions, I'd like you to turn your paper over so we can fill in our additional questions on the back. Remember, these questions might have more than one answer, but we're focusing on at least just bubbling in one of the correct answers. If you think you know both, then go ahead and bubble in both answers if that question has 2 answers. Number 6 for the multiple choice. What do we use to see light? Legs, eyes, or nose? Bubbling or filling in the answer. Question number 7. What is an example of a wave we cannot see? X-rays, clouds, or ocean waves? Question number 8. What are the colors we see in a rainbow? Orange, yellow, or violet? Question number 9. Which color of light has the longest wavelength? Blue, violet, or red? And question number 10. What happens when light changes to a different color? The wavelength changes, the wavelength doesn't change, or the frequency changes. When you are done bubbling in and filling in your questions, or if you need extra time before we correct them, you may pause the video here, and then when you are ready, you may press play again. So right now, we're going to correct our answers, and you can get out either a pen, a colored pencil, a marker, or crayon, or anything that can help you correct our answers. So I'm going to first start off by reading question number 1 for the multiple choice, and then I will go into the fill-in. So question number 1 for the multiple choice. What is this chapter about? Light, sound, or food? The correct answer is light. So making sure that if you got that correct, you're going to put a check. If you got it wrong, you're going to correct your answer. Question number 1 for the fill-ins. Blank is energy, and the correct answer is light. Light is energy. Moving on to question number 2. How do light waves move? In a circle, in vibrations, or up and down? The correct answer is up and down. Question number 2 for the fill-in. Light waves move blank and down. Correct fill-in is up. Light waves move up and down. Question number 3 for the multiple choice. What does sunlight look like? Rainbow, black, or white? And the correct answer is white. Remember, if you got it right, you're going to put a check next to it. If you got it wrong, you're going to correct your answer. Question number 3 for the fill-in. Sunlight shines down and looks white is your fill-in. Question number 4 for the multiple choice. What is in light? Colors, people, or animals? And the correct answer is colors. Question number 4 for the fill-in. There are blank and other light waves in light. There are colors is your fill-in. And other light waves in light. And then question number 5 for our multiple choice. What is important to know about this chapter? Light only has one color. Each color has its wavelength. Light comes from clouds. And each color has its own wavelength. So B should be bubbled in. And then question number 5 on the fill-in. Each color has its own wavelength. So wavelength is your fill-in. If you had the fill-in-the-blank questions, you can just sit and listen as we go over our other questions for those that have the multiple choice. And then we're going to revisit our focus question and go over our vocab words. So question number 6 on the fill-in. What do we use to see light? Your legs, your eyes, or your nose? And the correct answer is your eyes. So B should be filled in. Question number 7. What is an example of a wave we cannot see? X-rays, clouds, or ocean waves? And the correct answer is X-rays. If you got it wrong, it's quite okay. Just bubble in your answer so we learned something new today. Number 8, what are the colors we see in a rainbow? Orange, yellow, or violet? And all of the answers are correct. We see all 3 colors in a rainbow. Number 9, which color of light has the longest wavelength? Blue, violet, or red? And the correct answer is violet. And also, if we look back in our reading to our chart, we can see that violet has the most wavelength. The longest, I should say. And number 10, what happens when light changes to a different color? The wavelength changes, the wavelength doesn't change, or the frequency changes. And it's A, the wavelength would change depending on the color, and also the frequency. So the frequency determines that if the waves are going to be close together or if the waves are going to be far apart. So there's 2 correct answers for this. I know that question number 10 and question number 7 were tricky since since we didn't actually read both of those answers in the story. So as long as you just bubble in the correct answer, it means that we're just learning another new fact today. So now what we're going to do, just to close out our lesson, is we're going to revisit our focus question, and we're also going to revisit our vocab words. So I'm going to reread our focus question, which was, what do we get from the sun? Light or darkness? So I want you to remember the answer that you had, and the correct answer is light. We get light from the sun, and the light that we see from the sun is actually white light. Now we're going to review our 5 vocab words that we heard in the story. As I say each vocab word, you will then repeat back after me. Wavelength, light, white, colors, and up. So that is going to be it for today for our Chapter 4 reading light check. And next week, because there is no school on Thursday and Friday, we're going to pick back up and we're going to read chapter 5 in our reading. Next, it's going to be time for math, so I will see you all in math.